welcome to Magrathea, Builder of Worlds. This is part 2 of a Necromunda tile build. I'm building my first scenery tile for Necromunda in about 20 years or so. I'm using all the amazing plastic scenery that Games Workshop build, plus a whole bunch of other elements and stuff that I'm adding to it as I go. This is where I got as far as I got to last time. With the main base part of the tile built, I'm building a pub. I don't know why I always start with building pubs, whatever game system I'm playing, but there needs to be a drinking establishment in my part of the underhive, and I'm building this right here. I've got a whole box of part bits that you've probably seen if you've seen the last video. If you haven't seen the last video, go watch the last video. If you've seen the last video, you'll know that I've already put together bits and pieces like a staircase, and I've started on the actual pub. It's made from one of the 40k storage containers, where it will be by the time it's all put together. So this is what I'm going to be working on this time round. Got the main tile done. Going to be working on all the details of bits and pieces, the staircase, the pubs, extra corner pieces that aren't stuck on because they're going to have lighting systems put inside them. So this time round we're going to go for all the detailing and probably get it painted too. Watch this space. So this is the completed base part of the tile with some of the other elements that I've kind of got worked out to go onto it. As you can see, I've still got quite a lot of work to do. The bar over here has got loads of work. I want to add loads of details to that. Things like these canopies that are going to go over the windows into it. I've got extra piping to put in place. I've got loads of little details to get out of the bits box. There's a lot to be getting on with. I've got to work out how I'm going to do the LED lighting in this as well. So let's not mess around. Without any further ado, let's get on with some of the actual modelling projects. Going to start, I think, with the bar itself. We've got various bits and pieces to put on that. We'll see how we go. So I'm going to put canopies over the windows for my bar. Of course, everything's in the underhive, so great big huge caverns. You don't really get weather, I don't suppose, but then there's all sorts of clart. There's all sorts of clart that falls out of the ceilings, right from the top of the caverns and that kind of thing. I suppose there could be a cool way of protecting people when they're stood at the bar. So we're going to get these canopies. These are from Terrain Crate from Mantic Games. They're their market stall canopies. I've cut them up a little bit and I'm going to stick them on. I'm going to have 2 wide ones, one in the middle, all different sizes, make it more interesting to paint, I think. So I'm going to just trim off the end little end bits and we can see what they look like. I wheeled the super glue, the Mantic Terrain Crate 1. Plastic is a bit odd. Definitely going to need super glue. Unfortunately, I can't just use polystyrene cement to stick plastic to plastic in this case. But we'll see how it pans out. Ta-da! Canopies over each window of the bar. Starting to look a bit more like a salubrious establishment where any self-respecting Necromunda gang member would want to hang out. Right. Next bit then. Need more detail inside, I think. I've got some bottles, some knives, beer canisters, but I want other bits and pieces too. I already fancy this being junked up, so I'm going to have to hit the bits box. Okay, here's my bits box. This is what I'm going to be rooting through to try and find elements, details, and bits and pieces to go on this model. All sorts of old cack in here. Missile launchers. Dreadnought, big cannon things, old school Land Raider las cannons, all sorts of nonsense. I'm not going to bore you with all the details. There's all sorts of things in here. I'm going to have a root around and see what I can find. Tiny plastic components and various other bits and pieces too. A veritable treasure trove of tiny details to go on models. Okay, after some successful rooting around in the bits box, we've got a few bits, details we're going to be able to use in the bar. Certainly adornments. I've got some bottles, I've got some plates and things. That looks like that's off an old Chimera. That's going to make a table of some sort. I certainly got loads of weapons for when I do a weapons jack next. So there should be some interesting bits and pieces turn up on this model with fine details. Plus loads of old school Necromunda beasties, mutant rats, ripper jacks, that kind of thing. Although there's only one ripper jack and he hasn't got a stand, so I think that's going to end up hanging up in a slop shop somewhere. Lunch. Nom 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 nom. Right, I've got to try and sort through some of this stuff then and work out where it's going to go on this model. What have we got? Here's the inside of the bar. We've got barrels of beer mounted up on the wall here. We've got the bench at the back, bottles of beer and a handy knife. More bottles, flasks, knives on there. We've got crates and cans on the floor. Booze mounted up on the walls. It's going to have other bits. Here's the roof. It's got a handy weapon. Can be sat up in the top just so the barman can get to it if he needs it. This is the front. That's going to go on with the canopies now, you can see, and a bar table at one end with a jug on that as well. This is going to be that fiddly. I think I'm going to paint all of this bit here individually. Just be an awful lot easier to get into, and then I'm going to paint. Then I'll stick it onto the main model. Well, of course, the main model needs painted as well. This door is going to be left permanently down. This gives you the idea that they could close it up if they like. And then the back of the bar, we have blue LED that's going to shine into the model there, which is going to look pretty cool. And that's done through this wall section. There's a that's one of those home hobbycraft flickering LED sets, but I've swapped out the LED for a blue LED, not a flickering one, and this back bit is going to be left off separate so I can just close it up when it's turned on and off. One of the things I'm doing with this model and with all this Necromunda scenery is I'm going to experiment and teach myself and learn about LED lighting. I've used LED lights in some of my fantasy scenery before, and I've just recently started getting into doing a little bit more than absolutely very basic stuff. So originally all I would do would be to use some of those flickering tea lights, you know, the kind of thing you can get from Hobbycraft 4 for a £5 or whatever it is. Here we go. And I just place these inside the models, and it works well enough. There we go. Flickers away, quite cool. But actually what I thought I'd do is I'd have a go at doing my own LED lighting stuff. So this year, one of the things I've got into is 3D printing. I haven't got very far with it. It's kind of still witchcraft to me, really. But one of the things I have printed, quite a few of now, are these 1.5 volt battery holders. These are really cool. You basically put your 1.5 volt battery in it. You take an LED. Let's take a red one here. You make sure you get it the right way around, which you just do with a bit of fiddling. And there are two little grooves. Flick it over. Voila, we have glowing LED. So in some of my fancy buildings, I've just got these things stuck up in the roofs, and I have glowing LEDs inside, flickering ones or different colours to light up the building. And in some cases, I thought I'd do the same thing with this Necromunda scenery. But then I decided what I really wanted was the ability to switch them on and switch them off easily. I thought, well, I might as well use the switches that are already in these tea lights. So what I do is I take the tea light apart, pull off the flamey bit off the top, and then pop out the actual light from the inside of the tea light holder, and then it's only a case of taking a small screwdriver and you can remove the yellow flickering LED and put in your own LED of your own choice. Cut down the LED a little bit and it will go in there, and then this way I can have easy to use switch on LEDs that are nice and simple and straightforward. Now I've done a couple that are going to go into pieces of scenery and that are just going to have different glowing bits, but I wanted a sign for my pub that's going to glow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the LED on this. going to put it back into its holder. I'm going to then decorate, make sure the holder works. I've got this ammo crate that's has been scavenged, going to sit on the top here, and then I'm going to put the name of the pub in here, and it's all going to light up and glow. That's the plan anyway. We'll see how that all pans out. Yeah. Okay, so we have changed the LED over to a nice glowy red one, and that's going to sit back in its little tea light. There it is. Poke up through the top there, and then that is going to poke in to the ammo box, give me a red glow, and hopefully that's going to light up my sign that I'm going to cut out and stick into it. Here then is the finished sign. Well, the tea light has been covered in studded plates, and it's got the ammo crate on the top and various other bits and pieces that some folk will know what they are. I have delight in picking out. Then the LED will go into the bottom. That still gives me the switch on the base. It pokes up through there. It will go up even higher when it's in there, and it will even have the name of the bar, which I can reveal is going to be Crocs. I'll tell you about that another day, and that will light up there then behind that, and that'll be a lit up sign on my pub. Well pleased with that. Okay, so this is the base coat spraying that I've done. Started off as a matte black. I've used car spray from Halfords because that's what I can get hold of at the moment. Started off with a matte black. It's had a Kia titanium dusting, and also an Austin Rover maple, nice, and then more titanium over the top of it. So it's a kind of like rusty, browny, metallic kind of colour. That's a good place to start. Obviously all the concrete is going to have to go concrete, and then it's going to need an awful lot of messing up and making dirtier. It's a good place to be. I've also done all the other bits, the bits of the bar, staircase and what have you, similar kind of colours. So now we've got that, now we've actually got to get on and paint properly. Here then is the bar itself. At the moment I've got the very roof taken off it. Let's have a quick close-up. You can see in through all three sections I've got canopies over the front of the bar to stop the cart falling down on the customers. High quality clientele. Bar at one end, a jug of dubious liquid up here, and then we can see inside there are bottles and jars and jugs and what's going on over the top. On the back bar there, knives and things for food preparation. Big stack of, that's probably some kind of fungus beer or some such in there. Till communication device up that end. Boxes and cans underneath the back serving bar, and that grill over the back, which, hang on a minute, if we flick the light on it, glows blue, which is pretty cool. I like that. Then when we put the roof section on, now I'm leaving this, I think I'm going to leave this deliberately loose so I can get figures in and out. The whole thing glows nice and blue there, look, which is pretty cool. And up in that shelf up there, there's a bartender's gun sitting there just in case it all kicks off and he needs to grab something. So that's going to sit up here on the mezzanine floor like that. From a model point of view, this end of the munitorium container is just down, but it could actually close up. They could close up the bar, I suppose, if they wanted to, but I kind of get the impression it's open 24 hours a day, or however many hours in the Necromunda day there are. Stairs then go on. Got some more paintwork to do now, but we're starting to get our tile looking more and more closer to completing. Right. So the difficult thing with painting this kind of stuff actually is knowing when to stop and what kind of tones you're after. The Necromunda is grimdark. I mean, it's like almost like the ultimate grimdark in 40k as far as I'm concerned. But if you go too grimdark, it makes it very hard to actually play a game and see what you're doing. So I'm trying to get a balance between grim and dark and enough colour and bright to actually make it worth playable. So I've gone for goo and caca and working. Here's the downstairs of the bar. Have some more posters over the back over there. Found some posters on the Necromunda worldwide group on Facebook, which is very cool. I have more of those. I've printed off lots of those. They're going to feature on my scenery. So thanks to all the guys who have designed those. But then they also need to look like they've been there for some time. So we're kind of winning with this. I think in some ways it's a bit of a rough and ready paint job, but in other ways I'm quite liking it. It's going to be dirty and grim. So I've still got a way to go, but most of this is complete now. How much detail do you put on a model? That's the question. So this bar is called Crocs. Crocs because I live in a little town in the south of Essex called Rayleigh, which has got a nightclub called the Pink Toothbrush. But up until 1984 it's called Crocs, and it had alligators, not crocodiles actually, in a cage in the nightclub, which is a bit odd. I decided to go with Crocs because, of course, you know, Goliaths and some Crocs and that kind of thing. So I'm going to have Crocs heads on a pole, showing that this club is called Crocs. I was going to get a load of toys, so I was even scouting around on eBay and Amazon. And I was like, 3D print them. So I 3D printed some Crocodiles heads, and I stick them on a pole, and this is going to adorn the rest of the bar. It's going to be pretty neat, I think. So here are my Croc heads. Now, the Forge World Sump Gator, Sump Croc, has 4 eyes, and they're stacked 2 on each side. I've gone for 4 eyes, and they're racked horizontally, but they still look pretty cool. So this Croc sign is going to go up on the pub. Remind everybody that the owner, well, he's not a croc hunter himself. He knows croc hunters. He has to have fresh crocs to advertise his drinking hole. Pretty cool, quite like that. I've got to find a place to stick it now. So this is the finished tile. Difficult when you're making scenery like this, I think, because you could just keep going and going and going and adding detail after detail after detail. So I've kind of called this one done. I'm pretty pleased for my first bit of Necromunda scenery for about 20 years. I'm definitely going to make a whole set of these. I'm going to aim to make a 3x3, so 9 tiles in all to start off with. It's going to be a slow project though. I've got to paint gangers. I've only got original old school Necromunda figures here, and I want to paint lots of the new gangs. And I've got other projects to be getting on with as well, Burrows and Badgers and Lord of the Rings. So it's going to be kind of like come back, and I might add another one. I don't think I'm going to do 9 whole videos, but I certainly am going to do a few. So there might be a couple of other tiles that appear in between this video and the next Necromunda video. Let's have a closer look at all the finished elements then. Here's the final model, up close a little more, and some of the elements are actually not stuck on. I've deliberately left a few off so I can move bits and pieces around. First of all, the Croc sign itself, I've left this, so apart from anything else, I can get to the on-off button easily on the LED, but it also means I can move it around and rotate it a bit, which is quite cool. Pick it up and put it down in other places. So that's one separate element. This corner section down here also comes off because that also houses an LED, green one in this case. You can't see that under this light, but that corner section comes off too. That also means I can take that out if I want and kind of shoot through there into the corner of the bar. Let's turn that off. Then I made a couple little tables. They can be moved around as scatter terrain. I've left the staircase removable because getting your hand inside here is really very tricky. So having the option to be able to take the staircase out, I think is pretty cool. And also I've made it possible to take the roof off the bar itself again, so you can place figures inside, get your hand inside it and really interact with the terrain. There's no point in making a piece of terrain like this if you can't put figures inside it, that kind of thing. Also, the door down here, you can drop in or drop out just like the other bits of Necromunda scenery. So I'm pretty happy with this. It's a pretty versatile piece of scenery. I'm looking forward to doing a whole bunch of other tiles as we go. That's the completed Necromunda tile then. So thanks very much for watching Magrathea Builder of Worlds. This is, as I said, the first Necromunda tile, but there are going to be quite a few more. So watch this space. I'll post on the Necromunda group, so I should think on Facebook and elsewhere. There is a complete set of photos, a photo album of this on my Facebook page at Magrathea Models as well. So do make sure you subscribe to my channel and leave comments down below. I always love to read what you guys think of the models that I make. It's very interesting. And I'll see you again next time on Magrathea Builder of Worlds.